Hello, welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO. And today we have Mr. Debraj S. Roy with us, who has had a very distinguished career in the field of HR. He started his career with Onida, consumer durables. Then he shifted to pharma, Glenmark, Dabur, Abbott. Then he again pivoted to telecom in Indus Towers. Then he moved to consumer durables in Sony again. And then he was into chemical manufacturing at Indorama, then in textile manufacturing at Lux, and currently he is CHRO of Motovolt Mobility into energy. So, welcome, Devraj. Thanks for giving us time.
Thanks, Amit, for having me here today.
So, I
Yes,
want
with the career trajectory, I have covered a couple of industries. Happy to share my insights and experience today. Yeah.
so I wanted to start by asking you why HR, but so many pivots and so many risks because I've worked in the corporate world for 15 years and I changed from one industry to another, and I know how tough it was for me. you know and you repeatedly changed so many industries. So is this risk taking ability, does that result in a faster trajectory to move to the top? Is that one of the reasons?
I mean, one can think like that, but it happened for me for all good reasons. One, for some reason or the other, I got opportunities in different industries. And it was always a goal to understand various industries. And I would like to believe whenever I present certain insight, anecdote, it has got a lot of realities, aligned with it because I have been there and seen that how it got happened. So how a promoter organization works versus MNC works, how a Calcutta-based organization is working versus a Bangalore-based organization is working, how FMCG and all these other industries are working differently, service industry versus manufacturing. So I have paradigms of various things which helps me decide very quick, very fast, and then which is very required in today's scenario and so to say my electric vehicle automobile industry. And there are a lot of analytical insights help me take these decisions very swifter. So that's been the my key strength of these changes. And I believe Kushalta is also into agility and building that, changes in the minds of the young dynamic workforce today. And I think this is going to be the great future for all of us, agile workforce.
Correct, correct. So see, this leads to two questions in my mind, Devraj. One is taking risks. Taking risks is not easy because when you join from a new industry, from one industry to another, you have to hit the ground running. So that is taking a risk because the time, and especially at the senior level. And I could see that the last three, four profiles that you worked have been in different industries, maybe where you work for the first time. So the performance pressure at the senior level, new industry, uncertainty, and handling that. But I'm impressed by your statement that there were a lot of analytical insights. So all these decisions were well thought out decisions. So some thoughts on that, Devraj.
Uncertainty, honestly, Amit, is always there in any role, anywhere, because we know how what is that VUCA world. Somewhere there is a regime change is happening, somewhere there is a war in place. So I think uncertainties have never shook me to take any decision. I thought I'll be able to sail through it. So I don't know. This is how I feel it every time. And gladly so, initially it takes a bit of focus, a bit of minutely understanding the nature of the business. Luckily, few good organization has given me base understanding earlier, like Dabur, Sony. Those are very stringent in operation and working module, which gives you a fundamental, a very strong shape. So whenever you go and join another place, you can get to see what are the gaps very clearly. So then I could add value and rest is history, and then everyone loves to grow. So risk, I didn't feel much. Always a risk there, but as they say, like if you feel risk, you are orienting your mindset towards that. I always oriented my mindset towards opportunity. So now I'm part of electric vehicle. It's an opportunity not for me, for India, for world at large.
Correct.
So I think the chords are getting connected. So someone, some almighty is helping me to decide this.
Very nice. Very nice. It's such a powerful statement because where others see, depression or a slow movement or demotivation, just by having a different mindset, one can see opportunities there. Very powerful. See, so how can young to maybe just take a few more moments on this? How can young HR professionals, when or young professionals anyway, when they are facing uncertainty, how can they use analytical insights to take more informed decisions? Some thoughts on that, Debraj.
Well, I think now, as I say in various forums, the common language is not English but data. So data, I give a very different visualization to that. I tell my team, if I'm not around, you are managing a very tough stakeholder. You will be secured if you are data backed. It
Very,
could be one. So that's how I'm changing the trying to get their mindset into data oriented culture. I put first thing first, being a young generation workforce CHRO, I did a lot of automation and asking everyone to do something on their own, looking at the data. How many leaves, how many attendance, what all is there. So data orientation is a universally accepted proposition, which I understand. It's very easy to make everyone understand. So, and then I think even the critical business decisions are based on certain data point. So you let go of HR transaction work if you are backed by data. You let the workforce employee base feel that you are self-automated, not dependent on HR if you are data oriented. And lastly, but the big picture is like whenever you take decisions at a business table, management table, if your data is clear, you get a lot of pat on the back, confidence from the other side that yes, we are in the right track or not. So I think data is the thing which will help everyone across organization. And now we're talking about AI or anything per se. It is again a data-backed solution. Without data, nobody can do anything. So I'm just reiterating what people already know. I'm validating their thoughts at times, and they are all okay to change. This is how it is happening.
very nice. So I would want to ask you about that. Is there a change in the HR terminology again? We started with IR. When I started my career, HR was known more as IR because there was only manufacturing. Then HR, now human capital. So is it going to be human science in future? Because one side you require that empathy, that human touch, plus you're using the science and AI and analytics, and also is it going to be? But before I ask that, so can you share some example where data-based approach has helped you change the mindset of stakeholders or help them take a better decision or help them open their mind, look at things in a new way? If some example you could share, Devraj.
Very pertinent. So we do a lot of culture dipstick survey. We do it with a lot of numbers, data. And then suddenly we come to know that we are very popular being a safest workplace.
Very
And,
nice.
and then again, through another data point, we come to know we have got a staggering 15% of female diversity workforce. And that influences my stakeholder to take a lot of calls on female safety, female hygiene. All of that becomes a center stage of discussion. Diversity, strategies and all that. And then there are certain data points where we say like this performance has to be backed by the robust performance management system, which will help me to shape the career goals, that progression of the talent, and even the taking care of the PIP. So the thinking behind that is like it is not private to a manager to understand who is good and who is not so good. It can be as transparent as possible to understand who are the top talents of the organization. Again, backed by performance management system, which is driven by data, automation. So all I'm trying to help everyone understand, if we want to be agile, we have to take a very critical decision, and that is backed by data. So scientifically, we are organized. Now, while so much of science in place, we take a pause at times and say, my stakeholders, let's empathize, let's have some birthday parties, some fun at place, so that that balancing of human equation is never missed out. So we've been very automated, very data oriented, looks very mechanical at times. So you need from top bottom approach that push that we need to have some fun at work also. So I think that balances everything and gives a better inclination and feeling about data.
And that's where the human element comes in, because it's not going to be totally driven by AI or by data. So that is the importance of the HR department.
True that.
Very nice. In fact, I was reading somewhere that now the headhunters are tasked by the board to look for empathetic CEOs, because in the world that we are living in, or the way the world is moving, understanding the human emotions and understanding, having that personal touch is maybe the most important attribute which a leader can have. All right. So Debraj, to start with again, like I said, why HR? Why did you decide to start your career in HR?
So, my first interview, this was the question actually, and then I replied like, my mother is a psychology teacher,
Very
and
nice.
that's how it came to my, subconscious mind, how this entire psychology works. And then secondly, my brother-in-law was that time plant HR for Jindal Steel Plant. And then he used to come once in a while, say, what has happened throughout the day. Those are all my subconscious attraction towards moving to take up this career. And those childlike feelings, I think initially were there, like someone in taking interview is a very powerful role. That time with that limited understanding and experience, that those are the three, four things, if I see subconsciously with my limited maturity, that helped me in terms of taking this decision in a career like HR. But now as I'm growing, I feel I am trying to do justice of business acumen and human acumen put together. So human has been learned and business is where my passion is. So that empathetic HR and all being, part of these uncertainties is a center of all discussions, and we're trying to make that happen. As Because you also know in Calcutta or East India is slightly emotional, the center, epicenter of emotion here. So we try take care of that, and we do a lot of pat on the back kind of initiatives, and we try and have balance between human side and the business side of it. Yeah.
Very nice. So, see, when I started, like I said, HR was looked at in a certain way as a support function. Cut to now, where more and more HR is getting a seat at the table and becoming a strategic function. So, how important is it for HR professionals to acquire that business acumen? Like you said, business acumen plus human acumen. And how can they acquire it? How should they go about it?
I think that's why I'm being lucky that I have shown my passion towards being participative towards business decisions, business goals, business plans, and vice versa. I think the management or the business is also keen that now, if we have human issues been taken care of, can he contribute to the business part of the story? So it's a win-win kind of all story. At times I find few HRs are not having that bent of mind to go beyond HR. And then there are departments or functions or management things like you are kept carved out for HR related tasks. I think I've been lucky that I have that zeal to go beyond this boundary, and the management is giving me that leeway. And together we're trying to define something for my role like 50% business, 50% HR. So rest is history. I'll try and see if I can justify this expectation, but this is the aspiration story as of now. Yeah.
So, have you taken some business oriented tasks? Very nice.
Yes. So so we have got this EV infra, which is like charging station. Now, recently in Calcutta, there are not many charging stations. So we started doing this EV infra work. I am leading that for the company.
Very nice.
So let's say the sales is more focused towards vehicle sales, but it will be influenced through this EV infra. So I am going and finding the space, putting the power station, putting the entire infra in place. And whenever landlords are coming to meet me, I'm also telling them, would you like to be a dealer of this XYZ company?
Very nice.
So striking a conversation, business is helping me, everyone is helping me, and we are tasting success out of it. Yeah.
Very powerful. Very powerful. It's so powerful that you are actually going out on calls and you have taken responsibility of something over and above your HR responsibilities, Debraj. I'm very impressive. So see, generally one should push for taking up a business role or getting a seat at the table, or one should prove the credentials before pushing. How should one go about it?
Very pertinent question, Amit, and thank you for asking me that. Unless you take care of the basics, you can't go till that level. So initially, my initial 6 months was fixing the policies, automation, making my team capable to handle something, let's say 6 out of 10 queries on their own. And I was more glued towards handling the business oriented challenges, crisis management, something like that. So it comes in a phase manner. First, you fix your own human challenges, and then you need to step over to business, because those issues are always daily operational. You will not be able to focus to the business priorities if these issues are not taken care of. So you have to make your team capable. You put some solution in automation for self-help. You fix the ambiguities with right policies and guidelines. And I think now you are ready-made for the next part of the story. And then that's how you grow to the business. Yeah.
Very nice. What about a young HR professional? A young HR professional who has joined and who already has so much on his or her head in terms of whichever subdomain he or she is in, talent acquisition. So he or she has to show results in that, or HRBP or comp and benefit. So how do they try to learn more about business?
So we have these team meetings wherein I start with 10 minutes of business presentation. So unless I'm business updated, I can't train them. So I always take business updates from the business heads and then update them and encourage them to, find out similar sort of things. My plant teacher will come and say there is a battery R&D thing is happening. So I encourage that culture always in that team, that you have to understand whom you are servicing through HR solution. So this is one. Number two, I think you have to make that culture like wherein they are changing roles. While someone was in TA, now she is into HR ops and vice versa. I said you can only change roles if you understand the business well. Otherwise, you will find it more difficult. So they understand what it is to be part of automobile, electric vehicle industry, Motovolt per se, working in Calcutta. Beyond HR, things are always discussed, analyzed by them. And whenever I think there are opportunities, they love to change because their role is growing. At times, they understand that whenever I spend time, one of the main reason for changing any job, I think those are the days initially it was for managers, now because of job role. Now those who are passionate, they understand this is a right story to be part of. I'll change my role in a 2 3 years 5 years span of time. I'll know five different skill set of HR, and I'm cut made for a growth. And we are also making them grow faster than the normal period, and they see the growth happening. They're all passionate. We believe in a lot of passion building. So I think that's creating a solution for I think 70 to 80% of talent, that could be a solution. 20 30% we need to groom them up strongly. So this is how it should be. Yeah.
So, see, somebody working in an organization where the leadership is maybe not as has the same foresight as you in changing roles or having those daily meetings of business, then how should they go about it? Through their own efforts.
I think first of all, they have to be vocal that I want to grow, because here I ask them, they reply, and I'm trying to build a culture out of it. Otherwise, they need to volunteer for a lot of different work. They need to understand that there is a time attached. spending time is no good unless you are growing with your skills and talent and stuffs like that. If they can manage their current work well and volunteer for others, I don't see much of a challenge people will not include unless it's a very sensitive or a strategic something. And then eventually they will get that opportunity, certain projects, and then at a right point in time, they change their gears from X role to Y role. So this could happen in a bigger organization. Yeah.
And should they look for mentors who can guide them or sponsors who can help them?
Mentors is very important. The need of mentoring is, I think, understatement, and hence it has to be, the awareness is the number one thing. Why you need mentor and where are these mentors available? I get a lot of queries in my LinkedIn or elsewhere about a lot of career related questions, not only by the students but also by the working professionals. That helps me understand the mentoring is a very important piece, and I'm sure all of us are doing bit of things but sporadic way. We have to develop a framework of mentoring. We have to make it very public for everyone to access, and maybe in coming future the mentoring would be the way of life, and everyone would love to come give something back to community. I have got so many things from the community, this role and things. So I once in a while I love to go back to community and give something. So that becomes a win-win story for everyone.
Very nice.
Mentality.
So how do you find time to do all this, Debraj? So you're looking after HR, you're looking after business, you also help youngsters with mentoring. So what is the secret?
I think what drives you helps you in terms of finding time. This is how simple as it sounds. So this is something which drives me, and I look for people around me or try to trigger that drive inside them for this. Otherwise, the basic tools like automation, managing time well, prioritizing, doing a lot of things over the checklist, reviewing time to time. So I'm in control and on top of the situation. That this is again a big learning from a industry like telecom. So that helped. All those journeys have actually helped me in course of time, and I find time for it. I make sure whenever I miss calls, I make sure that I loop in and then close that loop.
Very,
So yeah, that's the approach.
very nice. So a young HR professional, how should he or she go about looking for mentors?
I think first of all, mentoring process. How many of the working senior professionals are aware of it? I'm not sure. They need to go through certain mentoring process, like Kushalta can help or someone can help in terms of giving a mentoring basic framework understanding. Mentor might be knowledgeable. The mentoring process has to be understood, allowing the mentee to open up first rather not giving just a solution. So, and letting mentee find the solution through right, nudging, right probing. That's the process. And then mentees, for them to understand that a lot of career decision needs a experience validation will eventually come in place. I'm sure they are also already scouting, but they don't know where to scout, whom to approach. So they're doing it very randomly in very community platforms. But if we have a certain platform which is visible for mentoring, one way we can groom the mentors to with the mentoring process, and another way making the mentee accessible for the mentoring platform, that will create the right solution in the coming times. Yeah.
Very nice. So, see, coming now to your secrets of success. So, you have mentioned quick agility, analytical insights. So, having that database insights, and then being good at what you do, being good at HR work, being good at the basics, and then looking for stretch targets. What else? What else would you like to say to the youngsters or people at any level watching this program on what have been your secrets of success, Debraj?
I strongly believed in one word which is called ownership.
Very nice.
And, initial years, I used to feel like if I don't love my job, uh, be it any organization, I'll not enjoy for long, and they will not enjoy working with me as well. So ownership was always a fulcrum for me to push the next level, and I got all my dues, rewards, and recognition through that. Ownership is something missing when you see that the work has not finished, but I want to leave home because of XYZ reason. I'm sure there must be some emergency, but can you take that prudent ownership call to come earlier next day or after your holiday to make up for that? Those small little signs, those small little pushing yourself. I strongly believe in not pushing by others, by pushing yourself is the secret. So ownership is very important. Anyone doing any role now, Gen Z's workforce are very empowered with so much of knowledge with these chat GPTs, Googles, and YouTubes of the world. Awareness is already there, so they have to have their passion working for that. And if they work it like that way, and I'm sure there are people don't find their work passionate. That's where the one other problem is. But I wish everyone all the best that you find your passion into work, you get a ownership mindset in yourself, rest will all fall in place.
Right?
Skill is important, but if you have the ownership mindset, you have a lot of avenues. Everyone will pull you up to build this right skill under you, and that might be the solution. Yeah.
Very nice, very powerful. So see, currently there is a lack of ownership for various reasons. See, because it also works on how does our peer pressure or how do our peers they work. So you join any new organization, a youngster might see a senior, 1 year senior, 6 month senior, or 2 year senior who might try to divert them into a different path. That why are you working so hard and so on. But um, would you like to share, or can you share some example from your journey where these small things of taking ownership, how did they help you, and how do they help people who are to move faster? So some personal examples would give this message to the youngsters that how powerful is taking ownership and showing it by smaller things.
Great question. So, as I told you, that HR was something which was not very scientific, but then later on I figured it out. And coming from mechanical engineering background, so I was thinking like at times that why in HR, nothing got to do with the engineering and all that. But eventually I liked it because I'm touching so many human lives through various processes. That's so powerful in terms of the process because I'm changing their life, I'm impacting their life. That was driving me. So purpose, yes, purpose was very clear in my mind. What am I doing? At times, I'm not even comparing my pedigree, role, or designation against a counterpart in sales or other department because my purpose is different. I know what is my purpose. I don't get carried away why I'm not in sales or finance, etc., etc. So purpose was driving me. Secondly, I think I got a lot of help with networking with the right mindset. So they say like if you are in satsang, like you are with the right people, you get oriented in a right manner. So
Correct.
at times the students are not getting the right orientation. They
Very
are not bit of with our parenting also or schooling also. We need to migrate to a different school of thought and then groom them up with a lot of accountability, a lot of ownership thinking from very beginning, and that might work out. And Gen Z is ready. I think they're ready to take a lot of responsibilities. It's just that parenting at times feeling that he's not ready. But I feel once you get into a bit of ownership, accountability task from the very beginning, you get that into habit. You find the right mindset through your right network. They will also, encourage you to take a lot of leap of faith and a lot of risk bending decisions and all that. And eventually, you won't know that becomes your habit. And once that becomes habit, those initial challenges are gone. Now I drive by passion and I encourage everyone to drive by passion. So this is working in my favor. This is my small little story how it has happened for me.
Very nice. So I'll come to purpose because it is so powerful, and how can youngsters find their purpose? But also, how important would you say it is for for people at large to have the right networking, to have the right network or the company of people, like you said, satsang. So people who are more into gossiping, people who are more into bitching, or people who are more into making fun of people who have a purpose. How important is it to stay away from such people, and how to do it diplomatically so that their egos don't get hurt and they don't hurt you, later.
True that. Very much true. And I again tell my entire team, if you are data centric, if you are very good at your work, you will be, because in a role like HR, you are always, having a proximity towards any gossip or something like that. You will be going beyond of that with your approach of work and data centric. You're passionate. You have to be good with everyone. You have to be approachable at times. And anyways, because of our role, people will come with a lot of queries. You have to be always be responsive. Those are basic tenets. Once been done, don't participate much into gossip. Once been told, they understand that, they also find sense in it. If this can be same be done with the students during their initial years and all that, at times I understand the students or anyone is gossiping because they don't know where to participate. They don't know what should be my interest. It is not a right thing to participate. They are just in a herd mentality. They are just following, a few others are following. So I think that awareness can come through mentoring, some bit of grooming by the respective managers, and then I think they will put their time in the right space. I always encourage them for self-learning. Whenever you get time, please open up a YouTube video which will make you learn Excel,
Very
AI, communication. So you engage yourself in the right things so that you are, averse to these gossips and all this negative culture per se. And if HR is not sponsoring or endorsing this culture, anyways, the culture gets toned down because of that. So this is how it is. Yeah, this is
Very
my
nice. Very nice.
right.
Very powerful words, Devraj. So like you mentioned, your passion was there because you had a purpose, and that is why you were not comparing yourself with sales, or they get, so much better treatment from everybody, or because your purpose was clear. So how can a youngster find his or her purpose? A recently joined, in the corporate sector, or maybe a few years down the line, but relatively young, how can they find their purpose? Because it is so powerful to have your purpose.
So true. And I think, like the way I've discovered why I'm into HR, they should be discovering why I'm to XYZ function, department. I think that has been not properly told to them. They should put more effort to find out what is this into actually before they land up into something. This is step number one. Step number two, then they have to volunteer, show the energy to participate, present, be in, always full like energy to be part of that story. Once that is done, eventually they find a direction to approach for their next career goal, be it within the organization. Otherwise they will build up skills and they will move to the other better organization to groom. So I think first thing first is finding what you are applying for, what you are signing up for your career, what, because once you have signed up for HR or finance, you have to be with the career for long. So you have to be very thoughtful about spending that time, like the way we spend time in finding bride and groom. You look for, and the candidates hiring also at times, that happens. But I think people are missing the basic. What career I should choose, I should be very clear about it. They can do n number of mentoring session to understand that. Once they signed up, they have to be very proactive, very energetic to approach this, and then they'll eventually find that goal for the next level.
Correct. So next, I would want to ask you to spend some more time on how should one plan their career. Like you said, that you keep on changing the roles of, your teams. But before that, so you changed so many industries, and you did not find it taking a risk, and you were prepared. You took calculated, informed decisions. But some interesting anecdotes where you changed an industry, some challenge, and then how did you face that challenge? How did you overcome? So some examples, your experiences, Debraj.
Sure. So my first work was with Onida Consumer Electronics. Um, I that was my first time in Mumbai, by the way. I wanted to understand the city, how the people walk here, what is the culture look like. So all discovery journeys. And then how a consumer electronics is moving to the end consumer. How are they actually manufacturing it in the factory? What all they are not doing in the research. So those are my initial years to understand how this entire operate. And with no plan, then eventually Glenmark happened. Glenmark Pharma is a well-known brand in
Correct.
Mumbai, and I was part of from that particular Onida experience. This is a pure specialist role into L&D. So we
Oh,
were initially starting the Glenmark Center for Learning with my L&D head. So I love those learning pieces. He used to take my help in terms of the basic administration and support and all that. I used to see the how this training happens. There is a framework. This is not a generic someone is talking. There is a way to do that content development and all that. Those are all my discovery years, I must say. And then Dabur happened. Dabur is a FMCG, very scientifically, very Indian made organization. I got to understand how it sells Chawanprash, Hajmola in the rural area, what is the seasonal impact of sales, how the distribution is actually the game, not sales per se.
correct.
Because before that, all of us used to think like sales is about like a Eureka for selling it door to door, the hardcore sales, but there is a science of selling as well.
Correct.
So Dabur gave me that understanding. Everything has got a science towards it. And then it was overall discovery. Abbott Pharma, again, a Digene is a very strong brand. Digene is between a OTC brand and a pharma brand. How you place that as a FMCG consumer goods. That was my big reveal working with Abbott. Telecom taught me agility, honestly speaking. Telecom is so dynamic, and at times we used to feel like, can this be that fast? Can we sustain for long? But once when you spend really good amount of time in telecom, your agility really moves up. I think all of us have spoken the same thing in various forums. Agility, data centricity, dynamic scenario, these are colloquial in telecom. Telecom was a new age industry, technology is always changing. That taught me this one. And then I joined Indorama during my COVID time. Everything is a work from home, and the head office is in Bangkok. So we started though 9 o'clock, but their timing, as per Indian standard timing, is 8:30 a.m.
Correct.
And the last interview, because it's a virtual, you have no stop line, and then you end up taking interviews at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So even if you're there with the family in work from home, you're not actually able to communicate with them. So that happened. So I always used to feel like these are all experiences. They're only making me richer, and I'll be able to sustain through it. So I always had this intuition that things will be better in the coming time. So, and then coming back to textile with Lux, it was hardcore, labor intensive manufacturing, machine, a lot of blue collar, not able to even speak the basic language, the basic compliances, the factory licenses and everything. So that built up my pedigree in some practical HR understanding, your IR understanding, and all that. And now I'm in automobile. Automobile EV is everything. You have no reference. There is
Correct.
no past. You start now. You find one thing at a time. You grow. So this ambiguity is way of life for me. I think COVID taught me that. Various organizations taught me that. But I think I'm very happy at peace in ambiguity. So that happened through all this, interesting organization experience. Yeah.
So this calmness, what is the other secret? So do you do regular exercise? Do you meditate? Or do you go to Dakshineshwar temple a lot? Or what do you do?
I do. I do. As you grow up the ladder, I think you need a calmness by doing a morning prayers. I do. I often at times find time to go to temple and be there in ISKCON at times to kind of keeping at peace. But I think I've been lucky that whatever I spend time, I don't get stressed. I don't feel stress. I only feel rejoiced that I have started something new. I have discovered something new. Even if the team is growing to the next level, that gives me so happiness that they started like this and they now moved on to that. So I think work stress is because how you look at the work. This is how it is. If you don't feel the work, and luckily this part is all about flexibilities, all about transparency. We don't have huge stringent or work culture. It's all helping to open up your mind, and I think I'm feeling so happy and peaceful inside. I think everyone has to find out passion and a bit of mindfulness through meditation and spirituality to top it up. So this is how it feels.
You talked about it earlier also by saying that having an opportunity mindset, so that you look at every problem as a challenge and as an opportunity. So you don't, there are no problems in life, there are only opportunities.
I mean, I would now like to think that there are times once I think 5% of my time been spent where I feel like this is not working. I really need a time off. And first button I press is time off. I
Okay.
either go back to family, take 1 day leave, contain myself and come back. You have also in course of journey, you have to take these resets and then come back. And when I come back, and at times even the what you speak to your manager, it matters. Manager always encourages you that you have put in your 100%, the result did not work out. We're okay with that. So all those small little things help me in terms of coming back, pushing myself back again if something has not worked as per your plan. So those are the pointers. Otherwise, as I've told, yes, passion is driving me faster.
Very nice. So these young HR professionals or young professionals anywhere, how can they acquire this opportunity mindset? So looking at problem as a challenge, how to go about it?
I would like to believe they are all experimentative in nature.
Mhm.
They need mentoring. They need guidance for sure. They are getting guided by a wrong notion of how to look at things. If they are all willing to experiment adventure, we need to give the right platform ground for them to be creative, be more analytical. Once that is done, eventually they will find this all as opportunities, not anything as a challenge. I think all is about the mindset. You start looking at things in a different way. You see all the challenges as one of the opportunities to handle. So at times, one of my team members will come, say, I'm finding it very difficult to convince that stakeholder about this. I said, did you present the data? I said, when was the last time you convinced him? How did you feel about that? So I take that person to that journey so that you get that notion that once when you have convinced him, influenced him in the right way with right data points, you will get this experience again.
Correct.
So you need a little bit of nudge and push at times, and then they are all ready. At times they feel that we need some nudging, bit of coaching and mentoring might help. So the young talents are like that only. Yeah.
Very nice. So data-backed scientific approach is what helps. So see, how should a youngster, how should he or she plan his or her career in the initial? So should it be based on the depth, getting deep into one particular subdomain, or it should be generalist and knowing about spending some time in each subdomain? How should one go about it?
I think initially it has to be depth in one thing because, as you know, the new age learning mechanism is T-shaped. As you grow up the experience, you should have a diversification towards everything. While doing a depth understanding of something, you have to have a holistic picture in clear. How the organization moving, what is my role into it, be it hiring, what is that contribution I'm doing. It is not a task management of position closure, but this person once they will come, XYZ will do this, and this is how the business will get impacted. That big picture clarity is very important. Initially depth, eventually build one skill, and then you move from that skill to another skill, and this is how you grow.
Very nice. And once you have reached the mid level, then what are the important things to focus on? How do you grow further?
Middle managers, I think they call managers because they have to manage.
Correct.
And what do they manage? Limited resource, limited time, very short execution. All of this, they have to know that, and getting the work done through someone else, like team, not by themselves.
Correct.
Those are the 4 or 5 managerial challenges everywhere I've seen. So I think getting the manager mindset into that mode is very important. He can't complain and say like, I'm finding it very, shortage of time or resources and all that. He'll find an innovative way, creative way to manage within that particular resource. So I think middle managers managing capabilities has to be checked out, and first time managers has to be checked out whether they can route the work through the team or rather they're still spending time on doing by themselves. So that is a big gap there. Yeah.
And at mid level, should they spend or try to spend more time with the business, or should it start at the junior level only?
See, business understanding in today's scenario, I think it has to be from very beginning. I don't think why it has to wait, because if you are part of something, you have to understand. And now this generation is very inquisitive. They love to know things. That's why they are going and finding out things like that. So that's ingrained in their way of attitude. So I don't think earlier it was for the seniors to understand the big picture. But if someone is keen to understand that, I always explain why we are doing it in this way and what is the big picture story out of it. So, yes, I think that could be from the very beginning, it can be done.
Very nice. So generally, people complain about how to handle the Gen Z, but look, listening to you, I mean, it doesn't seem to be very complicated.
So, few days back, I was in a good CHRO roundtable. So, one of this report inside was like one of the top requirement of this time the workforce is work-life balance. And now everyone thought work-life balance was defined like after a certain point of time I should not work. Not that, that's a wrong answer. The right answer is I should have the flexibility to work and deliver from anywhere. So the flexibility, not the number of working hours, is becoming a focus, which is why I told my team, you are owner of this, your task. I am not now going to check on your attendance, leave, and etc. If you think the work is important to you, you will find to complete it whatever way. And in lieu of that, I am not even looking at how many leaves, when you are leaving, and all that. So that's a trust culture we are building. So that's working, and that's something very much working in making this new Gen Z work, because they love flexibilities a lot. And they also love, second thing, I think, instant gratification. So you got to tell them, one of the book I love to read again and again is Catch Them Doing Right.
Very
So
nice.
whenever they do something right, I instantly appreciate in front of group or something. I encourage that culture within my other stakeholders. They love this instant gratification, small little nudge that you have done a good work and all that. That motivates them a big lot way. So this is how it is working for me.
No, but then, so should one wait and see whether they have the ownership mindset or not, or should one start trusting them beforehand? What is the way out? Because unless they have that ownership mindset, it can backfire also.
True. So I didn't extend this to my probation oriented employees. I did explain it to my matured workforce. Those who have spent 1 to 2 years, they have proved their mettle in performance. So that logic I've applied in that. Yeah. True observation, right observation. Yeah.
So I hope mid managers who would be listening to this, would get the idea that how to go about it. So balance it out.
True. True.
Nice. So what about people at the senior level, Devraj? What would be your advice to them? Like you took so many pivots, changing from one industry to another at the senior level. Or is that one of the routes they can take, or what would be your general other advice?
I would like to believe they should start seeing themselves as a business person, not a subject matter expert.
Very nice.
Because then we have inbuilt trust within the leadership. And this is very important because everyone works for their own objective of goals will not eventually help in the long run. It has to be business goal in the center. So I at times I get a lot of requests from other businesses, let's do this. I explain them, I'm okay doing it, provided these are the challenges, what do you have to say about it? So then they think, then they find a middle ground. I find a middle ground. My team might say, like, we have bent a rule. I said, like, business orientation is very important. So we have to, rules are for facilitating business, not for,
Correct.
governing something.
Correct.
So my function heads are more likely to be business oriented. Leadership is more likely to be holistic. I don't those old school of thought, like my plant HR has got ample of opportunities to go to plant head. He doesn't need to come back to me for all every support. And vice versa. I told plant head, you are a local leader there. So you have to take all function all put together. That doesn't need to come as a subject matter expert query to me. So we create that camaraderie, that trust feeling between function. I think that is very important. So trust, secondly, business orientation over subject matter expert, and third, more importantly, I think future oriented. They have to see what is the business future, what is the new workforce thinking, what is the new technology coming in. They have to adapt. So if they are not adapting, they, even if their intentions are good, they are not able to sustain for long.
Very
So
nice.
these are my three top priorities for the senior leadership. Yeah.
See, another problem in today's world is because of paucity of time, patience levels are dropping, and stakeholder management becomes very important, and it's becoming tougher day by day. So, what would be your advice? Some thoughts on stakeholder management?
I think data is still the number one solution for any times you connect with any stakeholder to give you a context setting. Followed by, I think everyone has to work on building trust by moving beyond their uh, typical roles and helping other understand that I'm supporting you and together we as a team and working as the best interest of the organization. Eventually, even if I could not communicate with someone, he will trust me that he took that call knowing Debraj because there is a stigma, there is a challenge which I might not understand. So eventually, without communication, also trust can take care of that.
Very nice.
So that will get into a lot of times wherein paucity of time is an issue. You are not able to communicate, but the other person is very willing to let go of his point of view because he knows if Devraj has thought differently, there must be a reason to that. He might open up that discussion later on, but we have that space for each other to save time because we have built in a trust culture over a period of time. So that happened.
Very
So,
powerful words.
yeah.
Very powerful words, Devraj. So we are coming to the end. So one last final thoughts on AI. How can HR professionals use AI and do their tasks better?
See, if they can maintain data good, AI can help you with insight, and that might help the decision makers to take decisions quickly. For me, since my already AI is already there, I can take those calls easily. So that's not my priority. But otherwise, where the business is having more dependency, like for my case, hiring. So I put AI over there to expedite the hiring process, and then a transparency culture in terms of the employee experience wherein they can see their learning goals, career goals, mapping, and everything happening. That is in terms of employee experience. So priority one is hiring because business priority is tagged with that, followed by employee experience of career, talent management, L&D, PMS, all of that, and finally a insight for decision making. Those are the three top priorities for AI.
Thank you. Thank you, Devraj. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful experience talking to you. Thanks for giving us time.
Thank you, Amit. I totally see Kushalitas bringing out the best of insight through so many leadership discussions will only help the community. I'm really glad to be part of it. whenever I'm needed for any mentoring, any insight sharing, I'll always be happy to be part of it. So I wish you, Amit, Kushalta, all the very best. Do a lot of community building, lot of learning, mentoring initiatives in the coming times, and together we'll change the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Debraj. Thanks.